This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome back to Fix It Yourself. I'm excited to dive into Chapter 3, where we're tackling those mysterious drips, gurgles, and other plumbing sounds that make you wonder if you need to call in the pros. Today, we're learning how to play detective with your pipes, so you can figure out what's actually going wrong before you grab your toolbox. Let's get into it. That steady drip from your faucet could be quietly wasting as much water as a whole family uses in a day. Now you're standing at the sink, wrench in one hand, phone in the other. Do you really need a plumber, or can you fix this yourself in the next hour? That little faucet drama is only one act in your home's plumbing story. Around the corner, a toilet might be refilling for no reason, or a bathroom sink could be turning into a slow-motion whirlpool. Most people assume anything with pipes demands a professional, but a surprising number of fixes are closer to changing a light bulb than performing surgery. The real turning point is shifting how you see these problems, not as mysterious failures, but as signs that small, sacrificial parts have simply done their time and need replacing. Like replacing worn strings on a guitar, you're restoring tension and control, not rebuilding the whole instrument. Once you know where shutoff valves are, how to safely release pressure, and which basic tools match which symptoms, your options expand. Instead of reacting in panic, you can triage what must be DIY'd now, what can wait, and what truly needs a pro? So where do those small, sacrificial parts actually live? Start with the usual suspects. Under a sink, that U-shaped section of pipe is a trap that quietly collects hair, toothpaste grit, and the odd earring. Above it, the stopper linkage can loosen or misalign over time. In a toilet tank, the flapper, chain, and fill valve form a simple mechanism that wears like the tread on a bike tire, gradually, then obviously. Faucets hide cartridges, O-rings, and aerators that can be swapped almost as easily as batteries in a remote, once you know what you're looking at and how to take it apart without force. Open the cabinet or tank and you're basically stepping into a tiny mechanical puzzle. The trick is to approach it like a curious detective, not a demolition crew. Start by learning to see the problem, not just the symptom. A sink that gurgles as it drains is telling a different story than one that just sits there with standing water. Gurgling usually hints at partial blockage plus poor venting. Standing water often means a dense plug close to the opening. A toilet that occasionally refills on its own points you toward the tank, while one that struggles to flush points you toward the bowl passage or the line beyond. Next, think in layers: outside, connection, inside. Outside is what you can touch: handles, visible joints, exposed pipe runs. Look for mineral crust, discoloration, or tiny green-white trails on metal. That's dried seepage marking where a leak starts. Connection is every threaded or compressed joint. Wherever two parts meet, ask, is something loose, misaligned, or sealed with tired material? A quarter turn on a coupling nut might be right, or it might be the move that cracks it if you've already overdone it. Sneak up on tightness. Inside are the parts actually doing the work: cartridges, springs, seals. When you pull them out, study the wear pattern. Flattened rubber, grooves, and brittle plastic are like footprints showing where friction and pressure live. For clogs, shift your mindset from blast it open to fish it out. Mechanical tools shine because they interact with the obstruction instead of abusing the pipe. A plunger works best when you create a tight seal and move the column of water as a single unit. Rapid, controlled strokes turn that column into a battering ram. If that fails, a hand auger lets you feel your way forward. Resistance that's springy often means hair or fibrous gunk. A hard stop could be a foreign object like a cap or toy. One helpful test after any fix is the stress cycle. Run water or flush several times back to back while watching every joint you touched. It's like giving a new pair of hiking boots a short, rough trail instead of trusting them straight into a weekend trek. Small leaks or misalignments usually reveal themselves under a bit of repetition, not the first gentle use. Throughout, your best habit is to pause before force. Anytime you're about to push harder, twist farther, or cut something, stop and ask, what am I about to make irreversible? Think of small fixes as drills that build your instincts. Tightening a weeping compression nut on a supply line is like tuning a guitar string. You turn until the note, in this case a dry joint, appears, then stop before it snaps. You'll start noticing how brass talks differently under a wrench than plastic. One feels solid and gradual, the other jumps and then suddenly gives. Use sound and touch as extra sensors. A toilet that refills with a brief hiss after every flush, then stays quiet, is behaving differently from one that refills randomly at 2 a.m. Trace that timing. A sink that clears fast but leaves a faint cone of bubbles at the drain might be hinting at buildup further down, long before you see standing water. When you swap an O-ring or flapper, study the old part. Is the wear on one side? That asymmetry can reveal a crooked handle, a chain that's too tight, or a misaligned seat. Fixing the pattern, not just the part, is how a quick fix turns into a lasting one. Silent guardrails are coming to your pipes. As smart leak sensors link with auto shutoff valves, tiny drips could trigger instant containment instead of surprise sealing stains. Enzyme-based cleaners may take over the heavy lifting inside drains, quietly digesting buildup the way compost breaks down kitchen scraps. Meanwhile, push-fit fittings shrink many fixes to snap-together steps, turning more repairs into something closer to assembling a shelf than wrestling with hidden infrastructure. Your challenge this week: do a water footprint walkthrough at home. Spend 15 minutes visiting every fixture, lift toilet tank lids, open sink cabinets, peek behind the washer. Listen for brief refills, look for mineral crust or tiny rust tracks, and note any drains that gurgle or hesitate. Pick one non-urgent issue you find and research the exact part or tool it would take to fix, even if you're not ready to do the repair yet. As you start spotting patterns, a toilet that always hisses after guests, a sink that slows after big cooking days, you're really mapping how your home breathes. Treat each small fix like sketching another line in that map. Rough at first, then clearer, like shading in a pencil drawing until the hidden structure of your system quietly appears. Start with this tiny habit. When you turn off the bathroom sink faucet at night, give the pipes underneath a 3-second glance for any drip or puddle. If you spot even a tiny bead of water, tighten the trap nut with your fingers just a smidge. No tools, no crawling around. Keep a small cup plunger beside the toilet, and when you flush before bed, give it one gentle plunge in clear water to keep the drain moving freely. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!